There we go, kids. Another edition of Snap Tackle Pod, talking high school football in and around Kansas City. I'm Mick Schaefer of KSHB 41. He is Dion Clisto of Preps KC, sporting the Blue Springs South Jaguars hat this episode, which you're right in their backyard, right?
Yes, I am. I happen to know someone on the football program who's able to get me a hat. And as we've talked before, my son is a freshman, very JV swimmer. So I was able to garner, you got to have a hat to wear to your kid's game. So,
absolutely.
And we've got the big swim meet with Blue Springs today as we record this.
We've established, though, that you'll take a free hat from any school.
Yes. I've got a very good collection. Bishop Ward, center. I'm looking up here. I've got North Kansas City, Mill Valley hat. I've got an old Smithville hat, an old Raytown South hat. Started that collection a few years ago, kind of went dormant for a while, but starting to see some more in there. I've heard plenty of people said they were going to get me a hat. And I haven't seen them yet, but I appreciate everything that I get, and it's great.
The thought is there.
The thought is there, and it's fantastic. So I will support your program if you send me a hat.
Hey, but I'll treat it as the teleprompter. Let's just start with them right now, because are they the storyline so far of this season, especially on the Missouri side in Kansas City? 1-9 a year ago.
Yeah,
kind of coulda, shoulda, woulda beat number one Liberty North in week one. And they just trounced Park Hill South in week two.
Yeah, they were up 47-0 quickly, and it was 54-0 at halftime. The JV scored 2 more touchdowns, 68 points, the most points ever scored by Blue Springs South, and that's a pretty 20+ year history of that program. almost 30+ year history of that program, and it says a lot about where they are. They've got a lot of good young talent. There's a lot of sophomores and juniors that are playing. Good senior group. That not a lot of them. There's only about 17. They like the seniors. They're good leadership. But they had the game against Liberty North. They missed an extra point that would have salted it away. Then they fumbled deep in their own end and gave Liberty North the opportunity to close. And that's what they did. I think they're a story. I think Liberty's a story. They bounced back from a game. They had 4 turnovers against Lee Summit, who's a story at 2-0. And they beat Liberty North last week, 12-7 in just a rock fight. I mean, just drag, 2 scores won it for Liberty. It was just a lot of defense, a lot of running the ball. You got the 2-0 teams out there that are, besides Lee Summit, Rockhurst and Lee Summit North. So we're going to find out a lot. I mean, Lee Summit North's going to Mill Valley this week. It's one of our big 3 games. Olathe North is coming to Rockhurst, though. I think Rockhurst is probably going to be able to probably push them around a little bit. It's
going to be a fun week. There's a lot of crossover this week.
Yeah, a lot of crossover this week.
No, I can't wait. But Blue Springs South has looked impressive considering where they've been in these first couple games this season. So watch out for those Jaguars. I thought Liberty and Raytown South, hey, anytime you can get rivalry wins, right? Especially early in the season, like they did, especially Liberty in a low-scoring game over Liberty North. Well done. So well done to the Blue Jays and the Cardinals there.
Yeah, no, and Raytown South kind of had to hold off a late charge by Raytown in that game, and that was a good win for them. Bouncing back from just a kind of a drubbing by Smithville in week 1. And Liberty, like I said, had all kinds of mistakes against Lee Summit, and Lee Summit made them pay in week 1. And then Lee Summit last week, they've got the Hatfield twins that are really good. That's going to be a fun one this week. Glad it's on Spectrum. I get to watch that, it's not on Spectrum. I'll be able to stream that one. But the Spectrum games, Lee Summit North,
Mill Valley,
Lee Summit North. But I'll be streaming the Blue Springs South Lee Summit games. I think it'll be a good one, among others, as I go through the games on a Friday night, and really on the Kansas side, there's a lot more. I think it's easier to find. K-Prep's a great partner of ours, does a great job of listing out all the stream games. And so last week, especially, I really kind of ducked my head into about 25 different games at one time. So.
And it's funny, but we always think we know stuff heading into a season, but we find out quickly we don't know as much as we think we know. And I thought there were some eye-opening scores on the Kansas side last week. Let's start with St. James handling Bishop Miege in a holy war to start things off the season.
Yeah, Tyson Beshore comes over from Spring Hill, and kind of funny story. He transfers over, and there's a assistant coach by the name of Beshore that I think it's Larry is an assistant coach, been with Tom Ranke for a long time. He was with him at Piper. And when Tyson comes over and transfers, Coach Ranke told me, he asked, Coach Beshore is like, is this a Beshore that's related to you? He's like, That's my great nephew. Had no idea.
No way. So many B shores out there,
yeah,
huh?
he had no idea that he was thinking about coming over to St. James. So, no, it's a good pickup for them. It kind of just fits that what they have. I mean, they've got a good offensive line, two really good receivers, a tailback that's a tough, rugged, and Two Jack has got a great name.
Well, there's a lot of Two Jacks out there too.
Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
if you know how to spell Two Jack, you're a real one there too.
I think it's TUJ. Is it AQ?
I think it's AGUE.
AGUE. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely a good start for St. James, and I think especially going into the game with Aquinas this week, and Aquinas had a good start to the week and beating a good Blue Valley West team in a back and forth game. You know, that's not a lot of their DNA of a Aquinas team. They usually get out front and make the defense make you pay kind of thing, and then just grind you out. And they had to come back a couple different times in that game in a back and forth game. So no, Miege, I think is going to be fine. But they're young in some spots, especially on the offensive line. And so I think that they've got Rodriguez back at quarterback. They're kind of breaking in a new tailback. So that, I think St. James is a little more up and ready to run than Miege maybe is right now. But that was a statement win for me, as where St. James is going to be. And, it kind of breaks the model of St. James the last few years where they lose the first 4 or 5 and then, I don't know, go on and win a state championship.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If they can pull off the back-to-back and get Aquinas, they could be rolling. Now, the EKL will bring everyone back down to earth. There's plenty of good teams.
Well, and it's, stronger this year. I guess, you lose a couple teams down to 5A, but you bring a couple teams up out of 4A into 5A this year. So you have a lot of teams at different levels here, as always in the EKL, eyeing a state championship, eyeing a run in the postseason. I thought Shawnee Mission Northwest victory was over Olathe North. Wasn't really surprising because this has been a good class. These guys have been playing since they were sophomores over at Shawnee Mission Northwest. But the way they did it again over Olathe North was very impressive.
The new Flexbone offense there, very physical.
Wait, Northwest running Flexbone?
Yes, they are.
Oh, my God. It's a virus.
It is a virus. It was at Shawnee Mission East, and now it's back at Shawnee Mission East, and now it's Shawnee Mission Northwest. And they put that in this offseason.
Eudora's running it.
Yeah, and so
Shawnee Mission North was running it, but they might have.
I think they come out of it a little bit, but they still
shot their way out.
Yeah. So, no, it's a great win for them. We've got a new honor that we do each week. It's the DM injury law, that coaching staff of the week. So it honors the staff. The Chiefs have a head coach of the week, and so the first week it.
Dive a little deeper. We're talking coordinators.
Yes, coordinators. Everybody gets their name listed. And this week we take nominations, and there's all kinds of nominations out there. Teams having a good. One coach said, "Hey, we were tied at halftime. We blew them out in the second half with great adjustment by my staff. That's why I want to put them up there." One says, "I got a great staff. You might as well just put me on notice. I want them nominated every week." This week with the tragedy that happened at Shawnee Mission Northwest a few weeks back with a player passing away during practice, I got multiple nominations from other head coaches for Shawnee Mission Northwest, and I think I wrote a column about that. And you and I know the coaches, so it's not hard for us to see that happening. And I think some people think, oh, these guys don't like each other; they have to go up against each other. For the most part, there's personality conflicts, and there's going to be like that in any job. This is a fraternity here in Kansas City. It's one of the strongest coaching associations in the country. They've gone to like national conventions and talked about why they're so strong. That's how strong it is. And it was really a good win for Shawnee Mission Northwest, their community, for those players, just getting those kids on the field on Friday night. Not let alone being ready to play and being focused. The game was secondary. They were there honoring their fallen teammate, and says a lot about the staff and the teachers and what coaches do was on display Friday night at Shawnee Mission Northwest.
I want to shout out to a handful of teams who were impressive in victory. Were in games where people didn't give them a shot, and were in a lot of instances in those games at the end. Olathe South against Mill Valley almost pulled off the upset. Shawnee Mission North, they were toe-to-toe for 3 quarters with Gardner Edgerton, right? And then Shawnee Mission East taking on a Lawrence Free State team, but in some polls, the number 2 in 6A. and losing in a close game there again, the flex bone there, as well as Blue Valley North. They haven't won a game in a while, but they gave Blue Valley Northwest a run for their money for a while.
Yeah, Northwest had to pull away in that one in the second half, and there's it's tough for those teams you mentioned that didn't win because they play in leagues that it's tough to kind of get from either the bottom to the middle or the middle to the top, and to do that with wins. You can do it with effort and play on the field, but sometimes it's tough to get those wins. And they all look like teams, and Shawnee Mission North's kind of been in that spot for the last few years. Not a lot of wins, maybe one or two, maybe three a year, but they're improved, and nobody wants to play Andy Walter and that team because he does such a good job, and his staff does such a good job. Real thoughtful coach who really is crafting a program. I mean, it's like everything is well thought out. And Olathe South's got some good players. Ryan Wallace was raving about Max Armstrong.
Max Armstrong had a great game. There were two great running backs in that game. You had Max Armstrong, who went for, total yardage wise, he might have been close to 300. And then Reggie Reese, Jr. from Mill Valley, popped for 269 yards. I believe that was the most in the city from a running back on Friday night.
So, Olathe South and then Shawnee Mission East looking like they're getting better under Coach Semino. And I had talked to Coach Stewart leading into that game, and he totally, from Free State, he totally expected a dogfight. He was not he was not stunned by that at all. He's like, that's an improved team. I don't know if they saw each other in the summer. They may have. And he goes, that's an improved team. We've got our hands full. That's going to be a tough one right out of the gate. So, and it was. It's definitely a good week. There's some blowouts there. And you get a team like Harmon. They've only won the first game of the season like 3 times in the last 15 years. And so they get a win over Maryland.
Nice win for Harmon. That's right.
Washington had a good win over Sumner. They were down in that game and came back. And
Washington had the kid that carried 7 times for like 150 yards, right?
Yes. They had a 90
4 touchdowns or something like that.
90-some yard kickoff return. There was a great Coach Cam Smith there does a great job, with video and audio, and he put a thing out on Sunday, and it was our highlight of the week for our 5 from Friday, and he has a lot of fun with it, and that was a great win for Washington, and so that's a good one there, and it's just a fun week all the way around.
Yep. All right, let's get to it. Let's look ahead to the RE/MAX Big 3 games of the week. Let's start on the Missouri side here. Kearney and Smithville. Here we go. Two bedroom community powers here in Kansas City. They're never not good. And once again, meeting each other this time in week 3 of the season.
Yeah. Last team to beat Kearney was Smithville last year.
Yeah.
And the
right.
last 2 years, whoever won the regular season game has lost in the postseason. So it's kind of got back to
neither team has given up a point, by the way.
Yes. Neither team's given up a point.
4 total games. You've got Smithville has outscored people 94-0. And then Kearney has outscored teams 66-0.
Yes.
Somebody's got to score, I think.
Yes, somebody will have to score in this game. And, for my radio show, Andy Meyer, who's covered a lot of those games, it was kind of Kearney dominated for a long time when they would play each other, because before Smithville moved in the league, and they've been in there for a while. It's not that they've been in the Suburban Conference for the better part of 7 or 8 years now. They would play in the playoffs a lot of times, and Kearney kind of dominated that. Jason Ambrosen takes over, and then Smithville kind of dominated that for a little stretch there right after Greg Jones left. And then Coach Minnick has come in, and now it's kind of even Steven in there. And
they're both class 4,
they're
right?
Both class 4.
Same district, right?
Same district. So they are probably, I'd say, an 80% chance that they will play again unless something happens. There's a good possibility they're going to be the 1 and 2 seed.
Oh, I'd give you like a 99%.
Yeah, I know.
On that one.
But no, it's a good game, and it's a healthy rivalry. They don't like each other, but it's never been fights. And you could move Platte County into that group as well, because it's kind of a
there's always
circle firing squad. And the comment that I heard once that the only thing that united Kearney and Platte County was Smithville coming into the conference, because they both had a mutual dislike for each other. But
my enemy's enemy is my friend, right?
Yes, but the one thing I will say, and I talked with Coach Spear about this, the first year head coach for Smithville was a long time on that staff. I said, I never hear of any melee or, anything that happens between any of those 3 teams. And that says a lot about the coaches. And that's, Smithville with, Greg Smith first, and then Jason Ambrosen, and now Josh Spear. And Spear was on staff with Greg Smith. And you have Logan Minnick, who's on staff with Greg Jones and then Josh Gray, who was in between there. And then, of course, Bill Lutz has been there the entire time. When you see guys who run their programs the right way, those kids know, well, I want to go beat that guy's brains in, but we're going to do it between the lines the way it should be done. So that's going to be a fun one. I think that's a really good test for both those teams that graduate a lot of players off their teams, and they're just trying to reload. And they need to find out a little bit more about themselves, and this is a good week to do it.
Well, speaking of the same district, you've got Platte County and Fort Osage up in Class 5. They take on each other this week in another rivalry game, and when you're Remax Big 3 games.
Yeah, they played. They're in the conference with Fort Osage coming. They're going back down to 4 conferences. Fort Osage coming back into the white where they were for a long time. You could see these two teams playing each other twice a year for a long time again. Fort Osage had a tough week against Kearney. They didn't score any points. Their quarterback went down in that game. River Peppers, their tailback, hasn't played yet this season. Don't know if he'll play this week. They've got Truman next week. So they may try and get him as healthy as they can. I think if you're Brock Bolt, I don't think you're worried about him playing in September. I think you're worried about him playing in November. And hamstrings can nurse along. I know that kid probably is just chomping at the bit to get out there. Yeah. So they're a little banged up, Fort Osage's, but they go and play Belton, who's a solid team. They get that win. Platte County, on the other hand, blows out William Crispin in week 1. They're tied at halftime with Grain Valley, who has found another tailback who can go 90 yards at a time. And then they just blow them out in the second half. Rocco Marriott has a big game in that one. Their quarterback, he throws for 5, I think, and runs for 1 more. So, he was a sophomore starting quarterback last year, has all the tools, looks the part. His completion percentage was below 50% last year. So he was still learning how to do things. Well, through 2 games, his completion percentage is almost 70%. So you're seeing that kid take a big step forward. And he's, I've only seen him in a highlights, but people say, oh no, you know who that guy is when you walk on the field. He's a big kid. I think he's 6'4", 6'5". So he looks the part, and Platte County has looked the part the first 2 weeks. So it'll be a good test for both teams, because Fort Osage will be physical and want to slow that game down, and Platte County will have to match that physicality.
Let's stay in Class 5 before I get to your last game here. And let's talk about St. Pius. They got a win over St. Michael this week. And I was just kind of like looking at the district standings with the points and all that in Missouri. St. Pius, right? We talk about it. I still can't believe they're in Class 5, but they're in Class 5. But they don't play Class 5 teams until the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got the Camerons and the Chillicothys and the Savannahs and the St. Joe Bintons and all those teams before that, teams that are well below Class 5. What's that going to do to them in those district standings? I imagine it'll hurt them.
Well, there's no deduction for playing down.
There's not.
One of the reasons why they were smart to go play Rockhurst, even in a loss, is you get a bonus out of that. So
winning going down doesn't hurt you. What about losing when you go down?
No, you don't. There's no
risk. There's just
no
reward.
Negative, just reward.
Okay.
So, I think if you're Pius, knowing that all these teams you're going to play from here on out, including St. James, which that doesn't help them either, because they take St. James number
state
and they match it to what it is in Missouri. I think St. James would probably be a Class 4 team in Missouri.
Easily. If not maybe
a 3.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, that doesn't help. But that, like I said, they were smart, and they went out and scheduled Rockhurst, and I could see them scheduling a Class 6 team if it's not Rockhurst every year, if they've got the numbers that they have. The thing that they've got to be careful. There's 2 things at play here. 1, they want to be healthy. 2, they want to develop depth. At the same time, I think they can do that through this season as they play, because they're really good. Yep. They're going to be up in some games. The problem they're going to find, and this has happened, and I can bring up some Lee Summit West teams that had yet to get to Class 6, and they were in conferences where they had games where they would only play a half, is that when you get into the postseason and your starters got to go 4 quarters, sometimes that's a detriment, and they're not in that game shape, or your depth isn't ready if somebody gets hurt, that kind of thing. So that's a management. It's a good problem to have. If that's your problem, you're living good. You're like, how do I get my starters experience? Yeah. So that's where I sit on St. Pius. I think that's a good team. They're well coached. They got great players. And they're going to, Maryville, Maryville and Savannah are still good teams. They're going to get some tests there. I'm not downgrading the MEC. They've got some good. Cameron is as much improved. So they're going to get some tests out there. So that it's not just a cakewalk. St. Joe Benton has improved. St. Joe Lafayette has improved. So they're definitely going to, see some. Chillicothe's big and physical. So they'll get some different tests. But they will definitely be probably, without the exception of maybe Merrill, up here compared to some of the other players in their conference.
All right, your last big three game for Missouri is Lee Summit and Blue Spring South. We talked about it. These two teams kind of made a splash with what they did against the Liberty schools in week one, and both looked as much or even more impressive in week two. I mean, the winner of this game, are we looking at that as like maybe a contender in Class 6?
Yeah, I think if the winner of this game's got to feel pretty good about themselves. The Gold is still going to be tough. I mean, you saw Lee Summit West beat Oak Park last week after getting drubbed by Blue Springs the week before. So you can't look past anybody, especially if you're a Gold team. And Lee Summit doesn't play Rockers. Blue Springs doesn't play Rockers this year. So that kind of, opens that spot up. But both these teams, they want to be near as top of their district as they can. And getting those wins right there is going to be huge. And, Todd Miller, the new coach at Lee Summit, came over from Colorado, won multiple state titles. I think he was in Colorado Springs. Multiple state titles for them. I've had a couple different interactions with him. Very straightforward, very honest, very open guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice to talk to. I think he has a very good idea of what he wants to do. Eric Thomas was there for 14 years, did a fantastic job at Lee Summit, and he's gone on to Jeff City, and now you got a different voice. I think that sometimes that helps, and that's one of the reasons why Todd Miller left Colorado. He said it felt like he needed a different thing after 19 years with his team. And but they've also got some good assistant coaches on there as well. Benny Palmer is an assistant coach, former head coach at Winnetonka and Park Hill South, and he won the Chiefs Coach of the Week. He credited both his coordinators, Benny and the other coordinator, of what they did for the transition, and the assistant coaches and what they've done. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that game goes. They are a big play team, and they make a lot of big plays. They're going to be facing a Blue Springs South team that is big and physical up front and can run the ball. And they are going to come right at them. And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Blue Springs South front line is, I think they average 6'2", 270 is what the number is. And that's a pretty good size. And by the way, one of them's a sophomore, right tackle. And he started as a freshman. So they are set up to be good for a few years. But it's just good to see all these games in Class 6 and see, some teams, with Lee Summit North going over to Mill Valley. That's a good one.
And here's the deal. Let's switch over to the Kansas side. Remax Big Three games on the Kansas side. So for the Sunflower League, this is their week 2. This is their bye week now. They initiated this week, this year. Before, you had 8 games. You're playing all Sunflower League teams. Now you're playing 7 Sunflower League teams. And in week 2, bye. There's some great games. You have Olathe South going to Great Bend.
Yeah.
I think it's Olathe East. Maybe playing Dodge City. And then Olathe West, who won in week 1 over Shawnee Mission West, taking on EKL School in Blue Valley West, is one of your big 3 games.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see Olathe West and Blue Valley West go at it, because Olathe West had a really easy one against Shawnee Mission West. That's a rebuilding team. And Blue Valley West is coming off a tough loss to Aquinas. So this is definitely, I think, easily Olathe West's best test, so far. But that's a Olathe West team that's got some offensive weapons, and they can score. And then Blue Valley West, we know that they've got Tate Nagy, and they've got a lot of good players in that team, and he kept them in that game, and he's a guy who makes things happen. So these great, you got Lawrence going to Manhattan. I wish that one was here. So you got some great games outside the league, and even the week 2, some of the Sunflower League teams just played each other in that week 2. They just went ahead and scheduled it off. But that Blue Valley West Olathe West game is a Thursday night game. Looking forward to that one. I'm going to try and
we'll get a camera out there and the highlights. Let's go.
Yes, please do.
We
will have that covered. Yeah, Max Goodwin will be out there for us on Thursday night.
Nice. St. Thomas Aquinas taking on St. James. Man, we got these holy wars right away. St. James knocking them out first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not putting anything. Randy Dryling there's a reason why he has more rings than fingers on one hand. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah, he's almost more than 2, right? 2. Is he at 9? What's he at now?
I think he's at 9. I mean, there's a reason, because he can coach, and he took seniors who didn't play a lot, plugged them right in, and they came out and won a tough football game against Blue Valley West.
They did, and they lost a lot from last year's team, moving up and then playing a Blue Valley West team that they got one of the best quarterbacks in the city. They like what they've got going on there. So yeah, that was an impressive win.
They plugged in a quarterback who's like 6'5", running flex ball. And when you talk to Coach Radke, he's like, he's a load. You know, the tailback Cal Arndt is definitely a good player, and he's going to be a guy to keep an eye on all season. He got hurt last year, missed the second half of the season, didn't even play on the state championship team because he was hurt. But that's, I mean, St. Aquinas is tough. And then you look at St. James, and they look like they're primed, like they were 2-3 years ago. Got the quarterback, got the tailback, got the receivers. Always have great receivers there, and they always block downfield. You know why, right? Because Tom Radke played at Iowa State when Davis played there, and he didn't catch any balls. All he could do was block downfield.
What you do?
Yeah. So that he is the best teaching coach of receivers blocking downfield, because that's all he did in college was block downfield, because they throw it like 3 times a game.
So if you open up the Iowa State receptions leaders book, you're not going to see.
You will not see Tom Radke. You will not see Tom Radke.
That's great. All right, so that should be a good one. St. Douglas, Aquinas, St. James. Let's see. St. James back up. They had a 4-year run, I believe, in 4A. Aquinas just 2, so they're moving up together.
Yes.
Into 5A. And last but not least, especially in our household, Lee Summit North at Mill Valley. According to some rankings, this is number 2 in the city, hosting number 1. We'll see. 2 powers going at it in week 2. It's going to be the Spectrum game of the week. A lot of interest in this one. 2 very different styles. What do you make of this one?
Well, I think after talking to both coaches, you've got coaches who had wins, but still think they need to improve. And so they definitely, this is a game they know they can't do the things they did the first time around. You know, Coach Rogers at Lee Summit North brought up penalties right out of the gate. He's like, we cut down a little bit on them in week 2, but we've got to be better about that and get those penalties out of the way. And you guys put the ball on the ground a few times last week. And I know that's something that Joel said. Coach Appleby said, we can't put the ball on the ground. You can't do those things. And so that's, I think, says a lot about the programs that they're coming into this game, not off the best, they didn't, just show up the first 2 weeks and just, you got wins. And Lee Summit North has 2 big wins, but they were close with Ray Peck, Ray Peck is a little down. They were close with Ray Peck early. They kind of handled Staley, but he said we've got stuff we got to improve on. We got to be better disciplined. And Coach Rogers.
Well, it's a new coach too.
New coach. But he was on staff there, so that was a good
transition.
There,
right? Yeah.
So he definitely likes and he's excited to play Mill Valley. He's like, they've done what we want to do, and that we want to go over there and see what the atmosphere. He goes, his kids are they played Blue Valley Northwest the last couple of years, and that's been a good one. So they're excited. They definitely are. And we talk about a lot of these kids. If you're some of the elite guys like you guys have, and they know each other from summer stuff and camps, and they've seen each other. So
look, if you're into great defensive lines or overall line play as well, O-lines as well, this is like O-line. This is like lineman porn here. Okay, it's gonna be there's dudes all over the place, right? Got Jaden Woods from Mill Valley, Hayden Heller on that line, MJ Wash, and some dudes on the D line, and then got the Oklahoma commit from Lee Summit North, and a couple other D1 offered guys for Lee Summit North on that D line. So yeah, it'll be big boy football, and they're both. There's no finesse, right? They're both physical teams. They'll seek you out.
Yeah. How much huddle film have you watched?
What's that?
How much huddle film have you watched this week?
A lot.
There's no huddle for swimming, so I can't. All I can do is look at times on a sheet.
I watched the Ray Peck and Staley games. The Mill Valley crowd's hoping Drew Hudgens can give him some insight. former defensive coordinator, but it's gonna be a great game, great atmosphere, and they're two programs that aren't afraid to take on a game like this, take on a lump. And Mill Valley's won 7 of the last state titles. They haven't gone undefeated in any of those seasons. Yeah, they've yet to go undefeated. They'll take a lump or two here and there, and oftentimes that propels them. That makes them better. And both these coaching staffs know that's the case. So, yeah.
Well,
shouldn't end on that one. I got my stomach's
we'll end on this.
We got kids playing new position,
and we got the Preps KC McCarthy Elite team. We've been going. We did quarterbacks last week. Cole and I did a podcast talking about that, and we'll probably get you into the rotation. It was a little short for the radio show. We do that, and we also do the video podcast as well. This week we got Ryan Walsh talking defensive line.
There we go.
And a deep group, and I would say that if you want to say what Kansas City produces in terms of big time college and NFL players, defensive line is probably
the position now, right? I mean, we get the Alabama guys and shoot, I'll even throw Merritt in there. Like they put him everywhere. They'll put him as DN for Blue Valley. He's going to Alabama, but we said the two kids from North Kansas City recently have Jaden Woods going to Penn State, and just they can produce some.
There's a third out of Bartaway.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So I mean there's a little write up, and we're doing that. It's kind of fun. We kind of decided that we do this, and we do like 5-6 minutes. And that's kind of the thing we do there, and it's fun. And we're going to bring in different people to talk about it. Might have McKenzie on 1 week, have you on 1 week, and the beauty of Zoom, man, you could piece together a radio show any way you want. Andy Meyer, who does stuff for us, Ryan Edwards, who does stuff for us, and of course Cole and guys like that, and just getting the guys who are out there in the field, the eyes on the people, and seeing, because the elite team is not about stars. It's about what you do on Friday nights. Like, because when Ryan and I were talking about this,
rankings, not about ranking stars.
Yeah, it's not about ranking stars. It's about, there's plenty of guys who are going to go be Power 5 guys, but do they got the motor on Friday night? Are they the ones that the other coaches going, we got to do something with that guy, or we're not going to get past this. So it's a good list. And one that's Charlie Wolben from DeSoto. That's a guy that
Iowa State commit.
Yeah, he's an Iowa State commit. He plays DN, and Wallace is like, he goes, I think that they put him inside because he's so aggressive that he can eat up blocks when they need to and free other stuff up too. So he's a guy. He goes, his motor's Wallace.
Well, and he's an off the charts athlete too. Yeah. I mean, you want the measurables in the combine. He's gonna knock it out of the park with vertical and broad and 40 times. Yeah, no, you get those guys, you can put them in a lot of different spots.
Yeah. So it's fun, and there's more guys. The story and the podcast are just a snippet. Quarterbacks, you can go about 10 deep, and that's probably as deep as you'll go. When we start talking 4 spots on the D line, whether they're D tackle or D ends, and there's a lot of guys deep.
I feel bad about the inside guys always get left out, because you're always looking at stats on the D line, where a kid with 25, 30 tackles at nose guard or 3 tech, a lot of times has more of an impact than the D end with like 9 sacks and 70 tackles. So I'm always cheering on those interior guys.
Well, one of those is the kid from Free State, and I have to look at his name, Hiram Viano.
Yes.
And Ryan's like, he goes, he did a visit. He's like, he is a man. He goes, they say 6'3", and they may be under something.
Free State, they always have athletes too, but now they bring back pretty much all their bigs as well, and so they're going to be a good team to beat out there. A good team out there in Kansas. Quickly here, I want to point people out to the stats page along these lines. Yeah. We got started up on Preps KC. We got our passing, receiving, and rushing leaders for both states. Huh?
Yeah, and right now on rushing and receiving, we're just going 10 deep for the first couple of weeks until we get some guys in there and get a few weeks under their belt, because you never know. Somebody who had 45 yards in week 1 in a blowout may have 230 the next, and those we'll go back to 20 here in a few weeks once we. Some schools haven't gotten on board yet, and we haven't gotten with them. And we're about 60 schools right now. Last year, I think we were upwards of close to 80. And that's the thing. If you don't see your stats, email me. We'll get together with the coaches. It's real easy for them. It's a Google sheet. All you gotta do is fill it out. It's really nice, and we compile them together. I got a great guy, Cole, that does that. A little program on Tuesday nights. It's what he's doing. So nice. No, it's fun. Yes, yes. Put him to work. He's got nothing else going on. So no, it's fun. The lead team, the stats that are sponsored by the Sheet Metal Workers this year, and it's we got a lot of stuff going on this year. It's the DM injury law, and whoever decided to go away from DePasquale more, because that's hard to say over and over again. So I'm glad it's DM injury law now. Yeah. Love Mike. It's great.
I think on Kansas HB 341, we still pronounce the DePasquale. We get it in the teleprompter, and we try to enunciate it the best way. No,
DM injury, man. DM injury.
Sports, man.
Rolls off the tongue. DM injury.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's all I got. That's all you got?
Yep.
All right, that's it. Enjoy the games on Friday, Thursday, maybe Saturday for all your schools, and we'll be back this time next week on Snap Tackle Pod. We'll see you.